In the centuries before Agron's rise, the Balkans were a patchwork of small tribes and kingdoms, each vying for control over land and trade routes. The Greek city-states had established colonies along the coast, introducing cultural and economic influence, while the powerful Macedonian kingdom exerted dominance in the region. To the north, Celtic tribes periodically launched raids, further complicating the balance of power. This created a fragmented environment where no single power dominated for long. The Illyrian tribes lived in scattered communities, each led by local chieftains. Unity among the tribes was rare, with disputes often leading to internal conflicts. The coastal tribes, such as the Talanti and the Liburnians, engaged in trade and piracy, benefiting from their access to the Adriatic Sea. Inland tribes relied on agriculture and cattle herding, developing a more isolated way of life. The lack of unity among these tribes made them vulnerable to external threats from the Greeks, Macedonians, and Romans. Despite the fragmented political landscape, Illyrian tribes shared common cultural elements, such as language, religious practices, and burial customs. These commonalities created a sense of identity, but they were not strong enough to unite the tribes under a central authority. Attempts to consolidate power were either short-lived or met with resistance from rival leaders. The stage was set for a new leader to emerge, one capable of uniting the Illyrians and asserting their presence in the region. The external pressure from neighboring powers created both challenges and opportunities for the Illyrians. Macedonian influence was particularly strong, but the weakening of Macedon after the death of Alexander the Great left a power vacuum in the region. The time was ripe for a bold and visionary leader to take advantage of the shifting dynamics. It was in this turbulent environment that Agron would rise to prominence, laying the foundation for the first true Illyrian kingdom. Agron's ascent to power was not just the result of ambition, but also of strategic alliances. Born into the Adriatic tribe, Agron inherited a position of influence. However, he did not merely rely on inheritance. He built alliances with other powerful Illyrian tribes, recognizing the importance of unity in a fragmented region. Agron's leadership was marked by diplomacy, but he was also ready to use force when necessary to establish his authority over rival leaders. The creation of the Illyrian kingdom under Agron was a turning point in Illyrian history. By consolidating control over the Adriatic and surrounding tribes, Agron established one of the most powerful political entities in the Balkans. His kingdom extended along the Adriatic coast, covering much of present-day Albania, Montenegro, and parts of Croatia and Bosnia. Agron's rule brought stability to the region, which had long suffered from tribal conflicts and external threats. Agron was not only a political leader but also a skilled military commander. He recognized the strategic value of Illyria's coastline, which allowed him to build a strong navy. With control over important maritime routes, Agron's kingdom became a center for trade and, at times, piracy. His naval prowess ensured that Illyria could compete with the Greeks and other regional powers for dominance in the Adriatic. By the time Agron's kingdom was firmly established, it was clear that the Illyrians had emerged as a force to be reckoned with. Agron's ability to unite the tribes, build a powerful military, and establish a thriving economy marked the beginning of a new era for the Illyrians. His reign would soon see further expansion, as Agron looked beyond his borders for new opportunities to strengthen his kingdom. One of Agron's most significant achievements was his ability to expand the kingdom's territory through both diplomacy and conquest. Agron formed alliances with the Greek city-states of Epirus and Aetolia, recognizing the value of diplomatic relations with powerful neighbors. These alliances not only secured his borders but also provided opportunities for military cooperation, strengthening Illyria's position in the region. Agron's military campaigns were characterized by swift and decisive actions. He targeted rival tribes, expanding his influence inland and along the Adriatic coast. Coastal control was essential for his strategy, as it provided access to trade routes and allowed the kingdom to accumulate wealth. This wealth was reinvested in the military, further enhancing the strength of his navy and army. Agron's most notable alliance was with the Aetolian League, a confederation of Greek city-states. This partnership culminated in a significant victory against the Achaeans, where Agron's forces provided crucial support to the Aetolians. The battle demonstrated the effectiveness of Illyrian warriors and showcased Agron's ability to coordinate with foreign powers. His kingdom was now viewed as an important regional player, capable of influencing events beyond its borders. However, the aggressive expansion of Agron's kingdom also attracted attention from more powerful adversaries, particularly the Romans. As Illyria's influence grew, so did Roman concerns about its ambitions. Agron was well aware of the Roman threat, but for the time being, his focus remained on consolidating his power and expanding his influence in the Adriatic region. The Adriatic Sea was crucial to Agron's strategy, as it provided both economic opportunities and military advantages. Agron invested heavily in building a powerful fleet, which became the backbone of the Illyrian military. His ships were not only used for trade and defense, but also for piracy, which became an important source of revenue for the kingdom. Illyrian pirates, operating under Agron's authority, targeted merchant ships along the Adriatic coast. Their activities disrupted trade routes controlled by rival powers, giving Agron both economic and strategic advantages. While piracy brought wealth to the kingdom, it also created tensions with neighboring states and Rome, which viewed Illyrian piracy as a threat to regional stability. Agron's navy allowed him to dominate the Adriatic, deterring potential invaders and protecting the kingdom's trade interests. Coastal cities under his control flourished, benefiting from both legal trade and the spoils of piracy. The navy also played a key role in securing alliances, as Agron's maritime power was an attractive asset for potential partners. The success of Agron's naval strategy was not without consequences, however. The kingdom's growing influence in the Adriatic attracted the attention of the Roman Republic, which sought to secure its own interests in the region. The stage was set for a confrontation between Illyria and Rome, a conflict that would ultimately shape the future of the region. Agron's military skills reached their peak during the famous victory over the Achaean League, which further solidified his reputation as a formidable leader. The Aetolians, locked in conflict with the Achaeans, sought Agron's aid, recognizing the value of the Illyrian navy. Agron responded with enthusiasm, sending a fleet that crushed the Achaeans at the Battle of Paxos. This victory was significant not only for the Aetolians but also for Agron, who showcased the military might of his kingdom to all the neighboring powers. This triumph boosted Agron's standing across the region, with envoys from Greek city-states and other regional powers now seeking to establish relations with him. His military success also gave him leverage in negotiations, allowing him to expand his influence further into Greece. The Adriatic, once controlled by a multitude of smaller powers, was now largely under Illyrian dominance, with Agron's fleet ensuring that no rival could operate freely in its waters. Agron's court became a hub of diplomatic activity, as leaders from various parts of the Balkans, Epirus, and Greece sought alliances. The prosperity generated by his victories began to transform the Illyrian economy. The wealth flowing into the kingdom enabled Agron to build stronger fortifications and maintain a well-equipped army. Illyria was no longer a scattered collection of tribes. It had become a powerful kingdom that could rival the more established states of the ancient world. However, Agron's aggressive expansion did not go unnoticed by Rome. While Rome had been preoccupied with wars in the Western Mediterranean, Agron's growing influence in the East raised concerns among the Roman Senate. The Illyrians were now viewed not just as troublesome pirates, but as a potential regional threat. Yet, at this point, Agron was riding the wave of his success, confident that his kingdom could maintain its newfound dominance. Agron's reign was tragically cut short at the height of his power. After celebrating his victory over the Achaeans with an extravagant feast, he fell gravely ill. According to historical accounts, the illness struck suddenly, leaving his court in disarray. The death of such a charismatic and powerful leader sent shockwaves through the kingdom, raising concerns about the future of Illyria. Agron's sudden demise created a vacuum that required immediate action to prevent the kingdom from fracturing. The throne was left to his wife, Queen Tuta, who assumed the role of regent. Agron's decision to entrust Tuta with power was a testament to his belief in her abilities. However, the transition was not without challenges. Tuta inherited a kingdom at the peak of its power, but also on the brink of conflict with Rome. She faced opposition from factions within the court, as some nobles questioned her capability to rule. Tuta's early days as regent were marked by swift and decisive actions. She consolidated her power by securing the loyalty of key military leaders and tribal chiefs. Despite the doubts surrounding her leadership, Tutu sought to continue Agron's legacy, maintaining the kingdom's aggressive posture in the Adriatic and expanding its influence. Yet her reign would soon bring Illyria into direct confrontation with the Roman Republic. Agron's death marked the end of a chapter in Illyrian history, but it was also the beginning of a new era. Under Tuta's leadership, the kingdom would face its most significant challenge yet, Rome. Agron's legacy, however, lived on in the strength of the kingdom he had built, which would endure for several more years, despite the coming storm. Rome's patience with Illyrian piracy and aggression had run out. Agron's expansionist policies and naval dominance were seen as a direct threat to Roman interests in the Adriatic. Tutia's continuation of these policies only heightened tensions. The Roman Senate sent envoys to Illyria, demanding that Tuta curb the activities of Illyrian pirates. However, the queen refused to yield to Roman pressure, viewing it as an infringement on Illyrian sovereignty. Tuta's refusal was interpreted as an act of defiance, and Rome decided to act. In 229 BCE, the Roman Republic launched a military campaign against Illyria, marking the beginning of the First Illyrian War. Roman forces, led by the experienced general Gnaeus Fulvius Centumalus, advanced along the coast, targeting key Illyrian strongholds. The campaign was swift, with the Romans capturing several strategic ports and cities. Despite the strength of the Roman army, the Illyrians did not surrender easily. Coastal cities like Epidamnus modern-day Duras resisted fiercely, and the Illyrian navy engaged Roman ships in multiple skirmishes. However, the sheer size and discipline of the Roman military began to wear down Illyrian resistance. Tuta, realizing that the war could not be won, retreated to the interior, seeking to regroup and negotiate a peace settlement. The First Illyrian War was not just a military conflict, it was also a struggle for influence in the Adriatic. Rome sought to establish itself as the dominant power in the region, while Illyria fought to maintain its independence. Though Agron's kingdom had grown powerful under his leadership, it was now clear that the Roman Republic was determined to expand its control into the eastern Mediterranean. Although Agron did not live to see the final confrontation between Illyria and Rome, his reign left an enduring legacy. Under his leadership, the Illyrian tribes had achieved a level of unity and power never seen before. His kingdom had transformed Illyria from a fragmented collection of tribes into a significant regional force, capable of challenging both Greek and Roman interests. Agron's military victories and diplomatic achievements set the stage for future leaders to continue his work, even in the face of overwhelming opposition. Agron's influence extended beyond the battlefield. His efforts to promote trade and maritime power laid the foundations for a thriving coastal economy. Cities like Shkodra became important centers of commerce, attracting merchants from across the Adriatic. Even after his death, Illyria's strategic location and naval capabilities remained valuable assets, though they would soon be contested by Rome. The defeat of Illyria in the First Illyrian War did not erase Agron's accomplishments. His reign demonstrated that the Illyrians were capable of uniting under strong leadership and playing a significant role in the political affairs of the ancient world. Agron's legacy continued to inspire resistance against foreign domination, even as Illyria eventually fell under Roman control. In the years following the Roman conquest, the memory of Agron lived on among the Illyrians. His story became a symbol of pride and resistance, reminding future generations of the strength and resilience of their ancestors. Agron's reign marked the beginning of a new chapter in Illyrian history, one of both glory and struggle, as the kingdom navigated the challenges of a rapidly changing world.